in the local growing season here. It's a really pretty dynamic place to be. This year, 2011, we've been real fortunate to have a pretty extended growing season here in the upper Midwest. Into November, some of our purveyors were still growing in their fields, so this is a lucky year. Other years, they're done earlier. On the roof, we were done a little bit earlier this year, but next year we have enclosed boxes that'll allow us to start a couple weeks earlier in the spring than most people would, and it'll extend.
Well, our wine list is predominantly, not totally, but predominantly northern climates, cool climate regions. We, being an independent, locally owned business, seek out like-minded growers, producers, and also distributors when we select our wines. Just like food and ambiance and service, we feel that wine is equally as important. At the Bachelor Farmer, we have a concise list. It's focused. It's not necessarily for everyone, but it has a personality. It stands on its own right. It's interesting, it's fun, it's unique. It kind of represents who we are as people and as a restaurant.
Our philosophy for making drinks is probably very similar to Paul's philosophy with cooking, which is to take quality ingredients and powerful combinations and let them speak for themselves without covering them up too much or seasoning them too heavily or putting too much on a plate or in a glass. A martini is, I think, a really good example of the sort of thing we're good at. Just a classic dry martini. We use a pre-prohibition recipe from 1904 with orange bitters and heavy on the vermouth, which is, but after prohibition, I'm not sure that a martini without orange bitters would have been recognizable, and it makes a huge difference in the drink.
Eric and I are both born and raised in the Twin Cities. Paul is from the Midwest originally. He was out in California. Him and Kelsey, our sous chef, where they made their name in California, and then were drawn back for different reasons. And so it's really been assembling the team was a process of searching out the best talent that we could find in Minneapolis and the Twin Cities, and trying to convince these folks to get on board with our project and sort of believe in it the way that we do. And luckily we were able to surround ourselves with these excellent people.
Well, there were a lot of pieces to it. I was really inspired by the architecture and the design. We tried to incorporate that in how we renovated this building and built it out to be a restaurant space. I had some great meals. So the food, and especially now with sort of new Nordic cooking, there's sort of a wave of young chefs doing really exciting things in Scandinavia, and I think that's sort of the way we try to interpret Scandinavian food, although in a way that's hopefully authentic to Minnesota as well. So I was just really inspired and excited by what I experienced there, and saw an opportunity to try to introduce some of that here. And I really love it when I see friends bumping into each other in the restaurant, where someone comes in and they didn't expect to see the other person, but they run into a friend, and that just is a great feeling and tells me that we're creating a place that sort of encourages those type of chance encounters. And when you see friends greeting each other and surprised to see each other, that's a great feeling and creates a great energy in the dining room. Yeah, no, we've got some great spaces upstairs. We made a decision a couple months ago to not try to expand to the second floor until the new year, and just to really focus on doing the best job we could in the restaurant and the bar, and with what we'd taken on initially, and to not try to spread ourselves too thin. I think that was the right decision.
Well, I think our goal has always been to just make the best restaurant that we can, and each night be the best restaurant that we can. We didn't really set out to be the best restaurant in the Twin Cities or anywhere else. It was just try to do the best we can every night, and if that gets us credit for being an excellent restaurant, then that's great. But for us, I think it's just about each night trying to go out and do the best job we can.